Well, we got another Joel Embiid update. Things are starting to sound more optimistic in regards to a potential return, and Joel Embiid brought Tobias Harris back to life. We'll break it all down and more here on Philly Take with RB.
Perfect.
What is up, everybody? RB here. Welcome into the show. You know the drill. Hit the like button if you enjoy these videos. Subscribe to the channel and ring the bell. Don't miss any of the coverage. Sixers coming off a nice little weekend. Racked up 2 wins. Now on a 2-game winning streak. And back in action. This team needs to keep winning games. We know the big question when it comes to Joel Embiid. And, you know, this team will only go as far as he takes them. But just to stay afloat, to stay out of the play-in tournament, this team needs to continue to play better basketball and rack up wins. And obviously the morale was low last week after they go out. They lose to the Celtics and Bucks, but are they back? Are they playing better now? Can they keep this going? We'll talk about all of it, but I want to start off with a very, very important Joel Embiid update. While I was gone for the weekend, this came out. Shout out to Philly Sixers Galaxy for putting it here on Twitter. And according to Katie George, an ESPN reporter, Joel Embiid has started doing on-court workouts recently. This was from apparently Nick Nurse to Katie George before the game. And Nick Nurse also says that Joel Embiid has been lifting, quote, 100% of the weight that he was prior to the injury. So, as it says here, team is expected to reevaluate his knee. We heard from Woj last week where he said we're probably about a week away from an update. So, I would assume sometime in the next couple days, maybe even before we get this video up, we'll have a Joel Embiid actual update, because I've been saying for the last couple weeks, it's crazy, it's been over a month now since it happened, but I've been saying, man, just stop with all the rumors and the, oh, this could happen, that could happen. They told us one day, then they told us the next, then they told us when he went to get surgery, then he said he'll be reevaluated in 4 weeks. So I've been waiting for some actual stuff, and this is actual stuff from Woj's report to Katie George's report. It sounds like Joel Embiid is actually on the incline here, and he's actually working his way up towards a potential return. He's actually ramping up to return. Now, I, again, don't want to go over the ledge here. I don't want to get anybody's hopes up too high, but things are starting to sound more optimistic. Now, what I will say is, even if Joel Embiid comes back, as I've reiterated all along, doesn't matter if he can't move the same way, if he's not the same player. Can he still be dominant Joel Embiid? That is the number one question. Can he come back and lead this team? Because sure, they've won the last couple games. Certain players have played better, which we'll get to, and team's getting a little bit healthier. But overall, losing Joel Embiid means you're going from one of the best teams in the East down to a lottery team. And we've seen what that has looked like against these better opponents. So they need Joel not only to come back, but to be the MVP level Joel, who was dominating the entire NBA. And he's now officially out of contention. But if he played this entire season, there's no doubt he would have won the MVP because he's been that good. Now, here's a video of Joel Embiid the other night with his teammates celebrating a win. And the only reason I'm showing this is just to show, again, how much of a beam of light this guy is. Always smiling, always happy, even though he's been through so much physically, mentally. He continues to be out there and support his teammates. So, number one, anybody that tries to doubt Joel Embiid, through everything he's been through, the fact that this guy continues to try to muscle through and play tells me all I need to know about his character, and I don't care, quite frankly, what anybody else has to say. Number two, the fact that he's always out there supporting his guys also resembles a lot about the kind of person that he is. Are we at the point where we should just expect this guy to be superhuman? Is that what we should expect? Because that's what I'm starting to think. I mean, we're only a month and a little bit of change removed from this injury, and we're talking about him potentially coming back in a month. Like, these are not injuries that you take lightly. You rack up all the ones he's had in his career, and the fact that he always finds a way to end up back on the floor for the biggest moments with his team. Obviously, they need to get over the hump, but the fact that he even tries to muscle through, right, when he's making $50 million a year, and he can just, quite frankly, sit out and say, let me collect my paycheck, do my thing. He wants to battle. He wants to compete. And that should never get lost when it comes to Joel Embiid. Now, on Friday, he actually held his first presser, and he said a lot of interesting things. I just want to go over a couple of the quotes. Shout out to PHLY here for putting it on Twitter. Number one thing that Joel Embiid said for me, he says, for really 2 months, I was not at 100%. I was not even close to it, and I just felt the need to give it my all to the team. Just wanted to win because I know I can add that to this basketball team. Now, again, the competitiveness is a blessing and a curse. Number one, he wants to be out there. He wants to fight for his boys. But at the same time, as he just said, which I told you when it happened, he was not healthy. We all saw that. It was easy to see on display. He was not at 100% for 2 months. He continued to battle through. Patrick Beverley talked about this in his pod, and the team should not have let him go out there. The medical staff should not have let him go out there. That was a flaw, and it happened, and he got hurt even more. So it's a blessing, but also a curse because he sometimes oversteps the boundaries, and he needs to step back, reflect, and say, well, I haven't been healthy in the damn playoffs for how long? And, I need to be there for my team when it matters most. So everybody's got to do some self-reflecting, but good to see him confirm that. In addition, he says, I want to be on the floor as much as possible. I only have about 20 years to do this. Probably not even that. So any chances that I get, I want to be on the floor. Doesn't matter where we are, 4, 5, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I want to play as much as we can and try to help us. So again, wants to be out there, but his health as a human being comes first. And I really hope and pray that he can get healthy and that all these injuries stacking up won't, say impact him, 30 years down the line when he's 50 years old. You know what I mean? When he's 60, right? I don't want these things to impact him. But I do appreciate his hustle. Couple more things. Shout out to Jacob Moreno putting a summary here. One thing, Joel says that there was only one decision. He talked to 5 different specialists. So we knew at the end of the day, the smarter decision was to get surgery. He also says that watching games recently with Buddy Hield and Kyle Lowry made him want to play. So the Sixers added some players. They've been playing a little more organized basketball and have a couple more guys in the mix. So, I wonder what he thinks about the whole trade deadline. But, he talked to Nick Nurse and wants to come back and play, and I respect that. The other thing is that Joel says he didn't feel pressure to play after missing the Denver game. He said the team was on a losing streak, felt like he needed to be out there from that standpoint to get the team back on track. Again, he is their leader, but got to make a wise, educated decision, which obviously nobody did. And that's why he ended up getting hurt. And they need to keep this stuff in mind moving forward. I would not mind him load managing, honestly. And if he even does get to come back, got to hope he's the same guy. The other thing that he mentioned here is that he talked to Tobias Harris. And I want to end off today by talking about Tobias because I'm starting to think Tobias watches this show and he just doesn't like it. I mean, I don't know because the 3 games that I didn't stream this year, shout out to my guys that filled in. Tobias goes for 30 plus back in January against the Kings. He goes for 31 on Friday. He goes for 28 yesterday. Any game that we don't broadcast or that I'm not there, Tobias Harris goes off and he had a team high 28 points. Now, Tobias did credit this to his conversation with Joel Embiid. He says that it helped spark his performance. Quote, Joel has a very intelligent basketball mind and how he sees the game and what he sees. He's been with me here the longest. At the end of it, he said, you had a rough 7-game stretch, not 70. Another thing he said is you're not out there saving lives. It's basketball. Enjoy it. So he helped Tobias get out of this funk that he's been in, and boy, has it hit an all-time low. But Tobias Harris has scored 59 over the last 2 wins. What do you guys think? What do you guys and gals think? Did this conversation bring Tobias back to life? Can we expect this moving forward? Unfortunately, I'm not going to get sucked back into that portal, and I'm not going to believe it till I see it the rest of the year. We saw how this team looked against Boston and Milwaukee, and right now they're probably not in the same class, especially without Joel Embiid. So, he's going to have to do it a lot more, but, I went back and watched some of the games. He's taken over in the big moments, and this is what has been the most frustrating about Tobias Harris is that he can do it. He has it in there. Why doesn't it come out consistently? Even if you're not making shots, why are you not aggressive like you have been in the last 2 games? That's all that fans wonder. They have no problem with you as a person, great leader, all that stuff. And, shout out again, another part of Joel Embiid that goes under the radar is he's a leader in the locker room. He helps his teammates. They say, oh, he's too quiet. Well, he sat down with Tobias for an hour. I don't care how loud he was. He sat down for him with an hour, and look at what Tobias Harris did. So hopefully he's out of this funk. Hopefully it'll help this team moving forward. Playoffs are a different beast, but we'll see how it goes. Good way to start and get back. Do you think the Sixers these last 2 games have picked up some steam, right? Kyle Lowry in a starting lineup, Tyrese Maxey playing off ball, Tobias Harris getting going. Is this team starting to mesh a little bit, or do we chalk it up to the fact that they played the Hornets, who are a bottom barrel organization, and the Mavs have one of the worst defenses in the NBA? Couple games this week, Nets, Pelicans, Knicks. Can they rack up some more wins? Give me all your thoughts down below in the comment section. Gotta hope and pray Joel Embiid can come back. It is officially March, and we are about a month and a half away from the NBA playoffs, where who knows where the Sixers will be at that point. But if they have their leader, hopefully he's healthy to go and this team can battle. We'll see how it goes. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe. That being said, I will catch you all on the next one. Peace.